Welcome into another Red Out podcast. My name is Devin, and we're in here tonight. We have a countdown starting now. This countdown is starting as the Marshall game is getting ready to tip off at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central. So we're going to talk about the game here in a couple seconds. But as always, let's jump into it.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
Oh, okay, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Where's the other, baby?
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Let's get a word from our sponsor real quick.
I am not ashamed to admit in the past, I've needed a therapist. We all need someone, and it's a strong person who can admit it. I talked to my doctor, who referred me to a therapist, and I really didn't have much say as to who the therapist was. But with this episode's sponsor, BetterHelp, you do. You can filter out who you would like to talk to, age, gender, religion, and more to pair you with the person who works best for you. And if the person isn't exactly who you were wanting, you're not stuck. You can switch counselors. BetterHelp strives to offer affordable, professional, and accessible online therapy. So go to betterhelp.com/redout today to save 10%. By doing this, you not only support us, you can work toward a brighter, healthier you. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Yes, thanks again, and you get 10% off. Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Jared, do we have you in studio, bud? I'm connected with him. Let's see if I got him.
Hang on. Did that work? Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I can hear you now. Great. How's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. I mean, it's been a perfect day down here. I don't know about where you're at, but it's been like 72 degrees, sunny, very pretty. We got to shoot some basketball outside, get some exercise, watch my Jeep, do a bunch of fun stuff outside.
Oh, it's been amazing here. I mean, I guess we always do winners and losers first. So definitely winner us, because this weather is like right now it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit here. And like took the daughter out. She had a checkup, a wellness checkup today. So she's not sick or anything, don't worry. But wellness checkup today, so had to take her to that. And then after that, we were playing outside. It was great weather.
Yeah, I got my taxes done today too. I mean, I got a decent amount back from my federal, but I get a single dollar back on my state tax. So that's fine, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's Tennessee, right?
Well, no, technically, I mean, it is for Kentucky.
Okay. I didn't know how that works since you technically work in Tennessee. So
I mean, I don't know. I just drop it off. They do their thing. They tell me if I owe money or if I don't. And if I don't owe money, I'm like, heck yeah.
hey, there you go, buddy.
I'm not one of those people that does all this deep diving into my tax stuff. I just take it to H&R Block and just drop it off to someone I've known my whole life, basically. So that works easy enough. It's Franklin. Just go in there and be like, hey, Jared, how's it going? I'm just like, hello.
Hey, that's always nice. The guy that normally did my wife and I's taxes at H&R Block retired this past year. So honestly, like I had forgotten because I normally just have a yearly set up to do the appointment and everything. And so my wife was like, hey, did you ever do that? And I was like, oh, shoot. You are right. I forgot. But I honestly just despise like taxes.
Yeah.
I just, anyway. I guess they help people, but sorry about that. I had to cough. I was trying to catch it before I did it. But yeah, I mean, so trying to get in here tonight. I was trying to share this show, but anyway, so quick winners and losers. I guess the world just has an automatic loser in Russia.
Yeah.
They can suck it. As far as Putin goes, I'm sure the people are okay. I can't blame them for something he's stupid and doing, but I digress. So, do you have any winners or losers, Jared?
I mean, it's just been a pretty chill day. I got tickets to see a band at the Ryman in May, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always stressful getting concert tickets because there's some that sell out super fast and you don't really know for sure. But I got some killer seats, like right in the center in the balcony on like the aisle seat, fourth row back. So it'll be good. I'm seeing Icelandic post-rock band, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have no idea who that is. So
Sigur Rós, for any of those that would know who that is, I doubt it, but they were super awesome. They sing in Icelandic, and their guitar player / singer, he has a cello bow that he uses for his electric guitar. Sounds super cool.
that actually sounds really cool. I don't know if I'd buy tickets, but I'd like to watch them sometime. I cannot get over this Kentucky crud, man. It's just killing me this year.
So Moonshine will take care of it.
I've actually, you laugh, but I've been drinking Fireball whiskey trying to clear this, and
Yeah.
it burns. And for a little bit, like my throat will feel okay, and I'm like, good gosh, man, this is really kicking it. But let's get into it. Looks like Western played. We got Old Dominion. We had MTSU, bleh, and what other? Actually, they had Old Dominion before last week. I'm sorry. Trying to keep up with. I just wish they had dates on these. So we played MTSU basically. We had the Old Dominion game. Western obviously dominated, did really well. Then MTSU just kicked us around. Looks like.
I mean, kind
Like
of.
we started out pretty good. Looks like, but they basically took over about 11 minutes to go in the first, and they just kind of ran the score.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks is, I mean, they didn't even shoot that good. I mean, they shot like maybe 30% from the floor, like 20 something percent from deep, and almost all of the threes they had were in the first half. But I mean, it was just we were without two starters. Frampton, he had mono, I think he was sick, he couldn't play, and Hamilton, he's out with a knee injury. He's still going to be out now, which, like, as we're recording this episode, this is like less than an hour before the Marshall game tips off on ESPNU. So that's why we had to kind of record it a little earlier and go live earlier than we normally would. But yeah, so we're still going to be without Hamilton. We will have Frampton. He's warming up. But I mean, whenever you're down people on a team that isn't deep anyways, that's not good. But Sherman Brashear was one of the people that started, and he looked really solid against Middle. He had 3 3-pointers, 9 points. He had a couple of steals and good defensive plays. Like, he looked like he belonged out there to me. I mean, I thought he did really solid.
I mean, that's always good to see too. Seeing kids come in and be able to do well right away. You were talking about Middle. They shot 39% from the field. Looks like Western
average.
shot 31%. 3-point land, we shot 30%. They shot 27%. We had 13 turnovers. They had 10. Rebound wise, Western had 41. They had 45. So they were beating us on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like you said, McKnight had 13 points. He led Western, and Lawrence led MTSU at 15. I mean,
And the thing that sucked too is that McKnight had a really off night. I think he was like 5 of 21 shooting for the game, which
yes,
is bad.
Yeah, he was 5 of 21, but he hit both free throws. So there's that. So,
and also, I mean, Sharp. It was the second game in a row that he's fouled out, so he's been starting to get into foul trouble recently, which isn't very good. Teams are going after him and are trying to take him out of the game. But for some reason, when he gets 4 fouls, Stansbury just leaves him out there and is like, you can play until you foul out.
Well, I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, I guess, right?
But, I mean, I would at least try to put Cozart in there, or Butts, or anybody. That way you could hopefully have Sharp and his defense in the last 2 minutes of the game. Especially if it's close, you need someone like that, especially on inbound plays. Like, imagine trying to throw the ball inbounds to someone that's 7'5" in front of you, has like a 7'10" wingspan. I mean, it makes it a lot harder.
Well, here's my thing. If you looking at time played and minutes played, all 5 of Western starters have over 30 minutes. Sharp's coming in at 30. The most is McKnight and Anderson with 39.
So the whole game.
Yeah. Brashear's 36. Justice 38. Cozart has 10 minutes, and Butts and Stansbury have 4 apiece.
Like, I will never understand Rick Stansbury's management with minutes at all.
But here you go. Let's look at MTSU, because they're thinking. I feel like they're thinking long run. Okay, they're thinking tournament. Let's save our legs, because listen to these numbers. The lowest amount of minutes in the 5 starters is Sims, who has 19. The highest is 31 with Jefferson. let's see. We got Sims at 19. We got Millen at 21. We got Lawrence at 26. Dishman at 29. Jefferson at 31.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nobody getting anywhere near 40 minutes or
Yeah.
39 minutes. Jefferson's got 31. Okay, he's a guard. That's okay, whatever. But then you look at the bench. The lowest is Fussell, is what I'm going to say his name is. He's got 11 minutes. Okay. That's actually 1 minute more than Cozart. Okay. The guard, Weston, had 29. There's another guy on here, Leonard, 16 minutes, and Buford had 18 minutes. Like, that's my thing. Like, they've got 4 guys on their bench, and one of them had more minutes than one of the starters.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the starters, 19 and 21. I mean, that to me shows that I don't even know the coach of MTSU, so whatever. But it shows me that he's like, okay, I need to save your guys' legs to get ready for conference tournament. Yeah, we got 2 games before tournament, but if we're going to do well in tournament, I need to save your legs. Western is just, I feel like this is like Derby. This ain't marathon. This is Derby stuff, you know? Sprint to the end and see who wins.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that it isn't bad, but next week, I mean, I am worried. I'm afraid we're going to crash and burn, honestly.
I think so too. I hope you're wrong. T minus 48 minutes to tip off, just so you all know. I've got a little timer going, so so our listeners can be ready for this. But I mean, it's just my thing. I mean, and it's always been Stansbury's thing is just start your dudes, throw your dudes out there and go. You don't put anybody else in. And I just don't think that's a good strategy towards the end of the year. I mean,
especially with someone being injured now too.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we
still
shot.
don't know. I don't know if Hamilton will be good to go for Frisco or not. I mean, if he's not, then obviously that puts a big dent in things. I mean, I assume Anderson would start, but I mean, if Anderson is the only person that gets minutes off the bench, then who else is going to play the game? Is he just going to run with 5 people the whole game or what? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if he does that, then that's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I don't know, and that's the problem is, I mean, historically, you know, we just throw another person in and they go the 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever, unless something happens and they just totally screw the pooch. But I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. Now, we were talking percentage wise, and it didn't seem too bad that Western only shot 31, but they shot 19 of 61.
Yeah, that's bad.
And, you know, I mean, I know Middle shot 69 total shots and they hit 27, but still, I mean, 61 and we're only hitting 19. I mean, that just seems like, good gosh. Free throws, we hit 8 of 11. That's not bad. We missed 3 free throws. I can live with that. You know, Sharp never made it to the line. Brashear never made it to the line. McKnight hit both. Anderson missed 2. Okay. Looks like Justice hit all 3. Good job, Justice. And Butts hit 1, missed 1. I can live with that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I wonder how many blocks. Okay. And Sharp's still blocking out of this world. How many blocks does he have for the year? That's what I want to know.
I think he has like more blocks as one person than like 70 Division I schools at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
He is nominated. I forgot to mention this. He is nominated for Defensive Player of the Year, like the National Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. But unfortunately, I don't see him winning that, just the fact that Oscar Toshibwe is on there from UK, and he's been absolutely ridiculous. So I don't see him beating him out.
How many blocks do you think he has? Just if you had to guess. Yeah.
Probably 70 something.
Oh. You have missed it.
By how much?
60. He's got 130 blocks for the season.
Jeez, that's insane.
I know, right? That's just he's got 130 blocks, 20 steals. Yeah, personal foul 65. I can live with that.
And free throw percentage is like 30.
Let's see. Free throw percentage is actually 44%.
That's still not good.
No, it's not good, but It's almost 50. I mean,
and that is another reason why I think Stansbury might just let him play the game out, and then if he fouls out, then whatever. Because if he's in the game late and it's like a fouling situation, if I'm the opposing team, I'm just going to be hacking Sharp the entire time. I'm going to make him be the reason that your team either wins or loses. Like
yeah,
whether or not he makes his free throws or not. It's basically like hacking Dwight Howard in the NBA. It's the same concept.
yeah, exactly. I mean, hopefully Sharp finds a Shaquille O'Neal that goes to the free throw line and just keeps missing. So, he can keep fouling and that guy just keeps missing. But if you hit somebody who just keeps sinking them, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're 4 games back now. Good gosh. We were 2.5 last week?
Something like that. I mean, Middle solidified the East. I don't know if you saw this, but their students actually rushed to court after they beat us.
Did they really?
That just is a perfect picture of the state of MTSU. Like them beating Western is their Super Bowl, basically.
I mean, see, that's one reason I still think that the rivalry matters to them, to some fans at least at Middle. But Middle's just, I don't know. I'm kind of anti-Middle right now, so because of what happened.
Yeah.
Yep. I just do not like those guys whatsoever. They're goofy, and at least their administration's goofy. I'll say that. But I digress, as always. So we got Marshall tonight. Back-to-back Marshall games. We're going to be playing Marshall tonight in 43 minutes. So for those of you who listen on podcast, I'm sorry. But the game's going to be on ESPNU at 7 o'clock tonight. So definitely check it out. Western has a really good shot of winning this game. We're at home, right?
No, it's on the road.
No, we're in Huntington. So look out Dairy Queen in Huntington. We should get a sponsorship from Dairy Queen in Huntington. I'm just saying. They should love us at this point. I know, right?
That and the Applebee's.
Sorry, I had to hit the cough button. They're giving us 2, which makes me wonder, wow. They're giving us 77-75. I don't know. I don't know. That's a pretty close call because, we're averaging about 75 points. So, I mean, it would if I was betting, I'd probably take the under, and I would definitely take the under on the next game, but
yeah.
I mean, but you're at Huntington, and okay, this is just like COVID year. What was that, 2020 or last year that we had back-to-back games, and it was just like, ugh.
Yeah, it was last season.
Ugh, the back-to-backs were the worst. Like, how could we not get Marshalls flipped around?
Because we're travel partners with them.
Okay.
Long story short, basically.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that. Okay. But it's like, really? We're back-to-back. We can't get anything else, We can't switch somebody so we could get it back to, instead of back-to-back, but oh well. What's it going to do me complaining, right? So they're giving us, the interns at ESPN are giving us 68%. So about 7 out of 10 we'd beat them. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, it's definitely fair. I mean, just for the fact that Marshall did beat UAB earlier this season. Like, they had a couple of wins like that were kind of surprising, but other than that, they've been one of the worst teams in the conference this year. So, I mean, it's hard to gauge. I mean, it is technically a rivalry game. I mean, Moonshine Throwdown, the basketball edition.
They always show up, too.
Yeah, so...
Marshall shows up when we come to town, and I don't know what that is. I mean, evidently, they just really loathe us from our past experiences we've done to them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even schedule us, which I don't know if you saw this, but Marshall's still moving forward, going to Sun Belt, and they released their full schedule as a member of the Sun Belt in football, and we're not on their schedule. They have Old Dominion, which is technically a conference game because they'll be going as well, but no tops, no Throwdown.
Okay, now let's clarify some things I've seen, and I may be misinformed, but isn't Judy trying to keep them?
Yes, but I don't think she's going to win, long story short.
Yeah.
There's been other lawyers or whatever that have been ruling in favor of Marshall leaving early, so I don't see her being able to stop that.
I don't either. I mean, yes, Of course, her argument is they have to keep the contract. Well, if they buy the contract out, then what's it matter?
Exactly.
I mean, if they buy the contract out, whatever, just go with it. Because coaches do that all the time. Why can't players? Or not players, but teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think players should be able to too, but whatever.
Yeah, so this might be the last time we play Marshall like these next couple of games as a conference opponent. So that's something to think about.
Ugh, that's sad.
Yeah.
As much as it sucks, I loved the rivalry. I really did.
Like, it started off as one of the funnest rivalry games. Just that entire 67-66 game.
Oh, yeah, man.
Time on Black Friday. I will remember that game probably forever.
What was that, 13? Was that 13 or 14 when that happened?
It was 14. It was our first year in Conference USA, first time playing them in football. They were undefeated. We're supposed to get a New Year's Six bowl if they won out and all this stuff, and we spoiled it. So, and I just how mad they were after that game was, I will never forget that. It was so funny.
Well, see, the 15, I think, or 16 was when I almost got drug into a fight with Jake's drunk Marshall friend. So, yeah, I completely understand people's aggression towards Marshall fans.
Yeah. And it started off, like, with football especially, like, that just first game kick-started everything. But even in basketball, when they got us back, beating us in the conference title game with that bearded miss, I mean, that also sucks. And it was the same final score, I want to say, too. It was 67-66 on that one, too, I want to say. Or something.
I don't remember what the score was specifically, but I just remember
it might not have been.
What was it? Isn't that the same game that it was the roll in and out?
Yeah.
When we took the shot, it rolled in, went right out, and it was like,
yeah, I can't remember what the final score was. I could be wrong to say that, but I know that they just barely edged us out and we lost, and then they rubbed that in our face. So it's whatever.
Yep. So we got to win tonight and tomorrow, just so we can roll it in their face.
And hopefully we can pick them up as a non-conference opponent at some point. Like, we're going to be adding Murray back starting next year, I believe, in basketball. And as far as football, well, I mean, we would never really play Murray in it anymore. But, I mean, obviously Marshall with a big program like that, I think Todd would try to work something out with them to continue to play them. Maybe if it's like every other year.
I think you need to. I mean, I think you need to. I mean, I don't know if you do it every non-con, but I think you should keep it, keep the rivalry alive at least, because I mean, eventually we're going to come back in the same conference. I feel like.
I know it's unrelated, but have we talked about our football schedule yet? Because it's out.
No, we haven't. We need to. Let's talk about it. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the biggest things is we're playing Hawaii at Hawaii. So what that means is that we get 5 non-conference games instead of just 4, because whenever you play Hawaii at Hawaii, you get to pick up an extra non-conference game that's like in the continental 48 states of America.
Now, see, this is frustrating for me because, and the reason I say this, when I was at Western, every year from probably 2007 to when I left in 11, because I was there in 06, but every year they talked about we're playing Hawaii. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I am totally getting a free trip to Hawaii. I am not going to miss this. Mm-hmm. So I would hang on as much as I could. I would do whatever I had to do just for one more year of working as an athletic trainer so I could get to go to Hawaii. And guess what? No.
They didn't. Yeah.
Nope. Every year they'd release schedule, and it's like, nope, no Hawaii. And I'm like, oh, good gosh. So now, in 2022,
almost
if I'd kept on, I might have could, I'd probably have like a doctorate in God knows what by now. But, yeah, so now they're playing Hawaii. September 3rd. But anyway, August 27th, we play Austin Peay, obviously, at EA Diddle in Bowling Green.
You mean the
house? Or not EA Diddle. Jesus, we're at the house. I've been talking basketball too much, bud.
It's okay.
We got LT Smith. We're going to be playing at Austin Peay. Then we're going to Manoa, Hawaii, and we are going to be playing that's September 3rd. Then we've got Indiana at Bloomington, which they were home. Weren't they in Bowling Green last year, or was I
Yeah,
mistaken?
yeah, that's
Okay.
right. And we barely lost to them. We've barely lost to them every single year I think we've played them. So I really, really, really want to see us get a win at Bloomington. I think that would be huge. They didn't amount to much this past season. We were one of the only wins that they had, and it still makes me so bad that we haven't gotten that Big Ten win. I want to see it happen this year.
I do too, but I'd love to see it. I'd love to beat Indiana because I mean, honestly, like last year, that was one of those games I wish I could take back.
Yeah.
Army, Indiana, and oh my gosh, was
UTSA
it
the first
Central?
time.
Was it Eastern Michigan State? I don't
Oh
think we would
yeah.
have beat Michigan State, but I think we could have been competitive. Okay. September 24th, we got FIU.
That's my
October
birthday.
1st, Troy. Do what?
That was my birthday. The FIU game.
Oh, is it? Awesome. Of course, that FIU's Conference USA. Tulsa, UTSA, October 8th in San Antonio again.
That'll be big. That'll be a conference title rematch game.
Yep. Then we got middle, October 15th. Marshall, the 22nd. 29th is Rice.
Not anymore.
November,
Not anymore.
on the Marshall one?
Yeah, we're because they just released their schedule and we're not on it, so we're gonna have to pick up games for Old Dominion and also Marshall.
Okay. So those actually Marshall's the 22nd of October, and ODU is November 12th. But like I said, Rice is October 29th. November 5th is Florida Atlantic. November 12th, Old Dominion, and to be announced, to be determined. November 19th is Auburn, and November 26th is Charlotte.
I think those last two games are extremely interesting. The fact that we have a non-conference game almost right at the end of the season against a SEC team is going to be interesting. But
yeah,
I mean, if we're fully
know.
healthy and if Daggy is a pretty good quarterback, our offensive line is pretty solid, we don't have many injuries, and we're looking pretty good, that could be a fun game. I'm interested to see how that could turn out because I know Auburn's been kind of average the past few years. They haven't been like super high nationally ranked like they normally would be. And I don't know what they're bringing in next year, but I mean, that could be a potential close game.
I agree. I think that could be a good game. And like you said, Western's always had a hang up in football as far as scheduling like the number one team. I don't know what it is, but we always scheduled like the number one team.
Yeah, at least you know what it takes to be the best team once you play them like that.
Yeah, well, and you get paid, so
yeah, we'd be getting stacks from Auburn. It'd probably be at least $1 million.
I would assume so. I would assume that's what it's going to be, but I don't know. And if you beat Auburn, you get the gate too. So, or usually that's what the deal is. So I don't know. But anyway, so we're talking football here. Auburn's going to be an interesting game. Charlotte at the end of the year is an interesting game too, but I don't know. Usually it's around. Do I know?
Yeah, I said it's kind of underwhelming. Like usually, like the last game, you want it to be like a rivalry game or super competitive game, and then it's just Charlotte, and just like, oh.
I agree.
Because I mean, I don't really hate them at all. They're just one of those neutral teams that you forget that they exist in your conference.
Yep. And honestly, I'm kind of like you. I don't have any ill will towards Charlotte. If they left and won a national title, I'd be like, congratulations, but I don't really care. Cool. Yeah, it's just like, whatever.
And
when is homecoming?
Too, I don't know. Probably
October. I imagine they were doing that for Marshall, October 22nd, but I don't know.
Well, that's the biggest question that I'm interested to see that will be answered is who are we going to fill those games with? Like, will any of the teams that are trying to jump into Conference USA be able to go ahead and join the season? Like, I feel like if they were, they would have already been on the schedule. But now that Southern Miss, Marshall, and Old Dominion all are basically out the door at this point, I feel like Judy might be going to, like, whatever new schools. I think it's like Jacksonville State and Sam Houston State, New Mexico State, whatever those. Liberty too. Duh. I feel like if we got Liberty in, that would be good.
I think some of those can easily slide in there and do well. I guess we'll have to see how everything turns out. We are looking at about 30 minutes now till tip off. So those of you listening on podcast, I'm sorry you get to hear this late, but we'll
Here's the
see.
question: if you're Todd Stewart, do you just go full on poverty mode and try to get like Ohio State, Alabama, and other like giant teams to play you and pay you $1 million to lose, or do you want to just fill it with maybe some regional teams that aren't
I
too far
think you got to
away?
split the difference.
The split.
I think you got to split the difference because you don't want to go full. What Texas Southern wasn't that who that was?
Mm-hmm.
Who did that a few years back? Which, by the way, craziest strategy ever. But you got money. But I don't think you do completely that because you want to go to a bowl game. So you don't want to play the Alabamas and the Ohio States, 100%. You want to kind of have some ammo so that you can actually go to a bowl game, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's my thought. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you split, that's good. I mean, it just depends. If we can rack up a bunch of money and then dip out of Conference USA as soon as possible, I would love to see that. Obviously, with everything that fell through, it obviously sucked a lot. I mean, the 2 weeks
Yes.
that we were in the MAC were some of my favorite weeks on Twitter that we had this entire year.
Yeah.
So I miss it a lot. Hopefully we can find a partner. I saw that maybe the Sun Belt is looking to expand and get Missouri State, which if they do that, they're literally just salty at us for leaving because that's completely pathetic that they would choose Missouri State over us.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think they
Of course,
just hate us at this point.
I think part of that, though, is they got Bobby Petrino, too.
Well, I mean, he's not going to last forever.
No, he's not. I'm not saying that, but it is. I mean,
What
I
do
guess
they
that's
have in basketball
name.
though? They don't have. They have a decent women's program. I do know that they were nationally ranked last year. But as far as
Well,
men's,
I mean, their debate team's pretty good, and
it's
chess team's doing pretty good this year. So,
yes, those matter so much in Conference USA.
yes, debate is always there.
Well, Sun Belt technically for them, but
It's
I just
debatable.
want us to
Okay,
get out. I will find any team. Maybe I should just go rogue and go to our local teams. Be like, hey, this is between us. You want to get out of whatever conference you're in and go to the MAC? I'll message our athletic director and say you said yes or something.
I could just see you like in some back alley, and you're like, "Hey, psst, come here. You wanna Conference USA team? It's Western Kentucky. I got the hookup, bud. We can get you in that. We can get you in there. Get them in your conference. Hey, what's up? But yeah, I mean, Indiana's is an interesting game, I guess. So, do we have an agreement with them for several years? I'm assuming, like a 4 or 5 year agreement, back and forth.
I can't remember how long it is, but I know we play Big Ten not this season, but next we go to Ohio State at Columbus, and that's also where our recruiting. Well, I think it was the director of player personnel. It was Zach Brown, Zach Taylor, Zach something.
Galifianakis, what?
No, it's the guy.
Oh.
It was Western's director of player personnel. He just left the Western to go to Ohio State, so that's like a massive promotion for him.
Yes,
So
definitely.
that's
I mean,
pretty big.
seriously, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, it was Zach Grant. He was the one that
Okay.
left, and the person that we have taking over for director of player personnel is Zachary Kramer or something like that. CR. It's like Kramer, but without that last R. So Crane? I don't know.
Crane? I would assume Crane. Then I don't know.
Yeah, he was in Chattanooga beforehand, I think, and he just started at Western. So hopefully he'll be able to keep what Coach Grant had going because he was really a good guy behind the scenes, very underrated position within athletics as a director of player personnel. So it'll be
That's awesome.
interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. Congratulations to him. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Troy. We have not played Troy in years, man.
Not since we left Sunbelt.
No. Which okay. Personal note, I always hated playing Troy because they do this thing. Quarterback drops back to pass falls incomplete, and then they go, that pass falls incomplete. And you're just like, Jesus, would you stop it?
Yeah,
Every single pass, and you're just like, shoot me now, please.
Hopefully our quarterback will be good enough that he just only has 2 the whole game.
Well, luckily we're not at Troy. We're playing in Bowling Green, so we don't have to deal with that. But with Troy being in the Sun Belt, yeah, Abby's downstairs playing. So, You may hear her little cheer every now and then. Um, I don't know. With Troy's Sunbelt, aren't they? That's where they
Yeah,
were.
they still
Okay.
are.
Yeah, and I mean they really haven't done a lot. I mean, I'm not knocking on Troy, but there's nothing in Troy, Alabama.
No.
Literally, when you drive up to Troy, Alabama, you run into a bunch of trailers, and then you're at the stadium. And
Yeah, and they
I'm
have a
not
little bit
able
of a
to get.
strip like what Scottsville Road is, as far as like all their main eating places, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to experience that part, but it's just there's nothing there, and so it's just. I mean, they just don't have a market as far as I can tell.
Yeah, they don't.
But oh well, that's part of it, I guess.
Unless they try to claim Montgomery or something. But I did find
yeah.
an ancient relic from the past. I was helping a friend move, and we were going through all of his stuff. And he went to Western. He was in pet band, marching band, all of that. Same time I was, and he found a basketball from the Sun Belt basketball tournament in 2014, the one that was in New Orleans. So,
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I had to put some air in it and shoot it around a little bit today, just because I found it. He let me keep it. He didn't want it.
That's pretty cool. That's actually hilarious though, because I've got 2 footballs from my time at Western. One was a waterlogged football that the managers let me have because they're like, we cannot use that thing because it is so waterlogged. It had one of the punters or the kickers had actually knocked it up into the stands, and it had been left overnight, and we had this torrential downpour, so they let it go. They were like, peace, don't need it. But yeah, so I've got that one, and I've got another one I got, and I cannot remember what team it was from. But I've got 2 footballs, but I got to find them. They're packed away somewhere. I can't wait to play UTSA again. That'll be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's in San Antonio, so we'll have to see as far as everything goes. Now, UTSA, are they leaving or are they still here?
All the ones that are going to the American are leaving at the end of the 2022-2023 season. So it'll be this time next year will be the last time that we play them, like with us and Marshall and Southern Miss.
Even though Marshall's technically dropped everybody.
I'm just saying it'll be like them. Like the Sun Belt is leaving this season, it'll be American next season.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. Sorry. Yeah. So okay. So UTSA, we'll see. We've got one more year with you. I hate that Marshall's leaving. No more Dairy Queen jokes, man. I hate this. Next week we're gonna have to have like an in memoriam for Marshall.
Yeah, I mean all we have is middle and.
Yeah, it's just us in middle.
Everyone's No, this is we're in that stage of life, like Western. Like this is like the 3 years out of college life. So it like you have some friends that you met at college, you're still buddies, and even after y'all graduate, I mean, you still hang out for a little bit, and then like a couple of your friends get married and have kids and disappear and move off, and you're like, oh, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm happy for them. And then all your other friends disappear, and then just like one day you wake up and be like, where is everybody? That's where we're at right now, and as far as conference goes.
Amen. I completely with that because you're absolutely right. It's one of those that, hey, you and your buddy have been hanging out for a while, and you get new friends, but now it's just you and that weird dude, and you're just stuck.
Everyone's left town but you.
Yep, you 2 are the only 2 left in town, and it's like great. So now you get to be stuck with the broke kid, so you got to pay for everything.
Like FIU.
Yeah. So the rest of the schedule is pretty meh. Like I said, Auburn's an interesting game towards the end of the season. That can either be really good or that can be really bad. Auburn has been falling off for most of the year, or past few years. They haven't really had a very good run. They usually upset Alabama, but this is like right before they play Alabama, so they may be pretty hyped. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's possible that they could overlook us, but at the same time, depending on how well they are by then, like if they're doing really good and they haven't lost a game when they get to us, they're definitely going to be like, "Oh, we can't fall asleep before Western." Like we don't want to be like blow a
We don't want
game
to be
right
that
before
team.
But yeah, you don't want to blow a game to Western Kentucky right before you play Alabama and have a chance to win the SEC. So if they're doing
Yep.
really, really good, then I feel like they'll take us more seriously. But if they're maybe 500 or less by the time that we play them, it won't matter.
Almost got it. Excuse me. Yeah, I agree with that. Like you said, if they're dragging the bottom of the SEC this time, when we play them in November 19th, I agree completely. Hoping the game's televised,
Oh, it
at least
should be.
ESPNU.
Probably SEC Network, if I were to guess.
Yes, 100%. 19 minutes till tip off, just so you all know. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. It definitely probably SEC Network. I 100% agree with that. I'm hoping Diggy is a legit player. Like
Yeah, me too.
that'll run a lot of this. That's going to determine like how a lot of this goes.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did lose another offensive lineman to the transfer portal.
Yeah, it's going to happen though, right?
He was one of those other really strong guys. It was on Valentine's Day too when he announced that he was transferring, so that sucks a lot. I can't remember which one it was.
Valentine's Day. That's hilarious.
He broke up with us.
Yeah, he did. I'm like, really? Valentine's Day? Of all days to choose, you chose Valentine's Day? Oh my gosh. So we're all friends here. I can tell you this. Yesterday, picked daughter up from daycare. On my way home, I smelled something. I was like, I guess the Bradford pears are blooming because, they have a certain odor.
Oh yeah, it's nasty. Especially
yeah,
the
it's
ones on
nasty.
campus. I remember the ones on campus were always horrible.
Ugh. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, they're about to bloom, whatever. So I literally live like less than half a mile from the daycare. So like I can literally see the daycare from my house. So pull up to the house, pull in the driveway, and all of a sudden my truck starts smoking. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh
no.
Jesus. First off, I thought my truck's on fire. Here we go. So then I get out, I pop the hood, and I'm like, well, there's no fire. That's a plus. So I start looking around and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. One of my radiator hose broke.
That sucks.
So it like broke off from the heater core. So for those of you who don't know, there's a hose that runs from the radiator. It goes to this little part called the heater core, and then that runs back into like the motor and all that stuff or something like that. Anyway, yeah, so that broke off and I had to have it towed last night. So I am extremely excited to see how this is going to go.
Yeah. How old is your truck?
It's 09. I got it in 2014.
Dang.
Yeah. So I might be looking for a new vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario though, but also if you can do it safely, just total the darn thing. That's what happened to me last year. I was in a wreck. I was 3/10 of a mile from my house, went through an intersection I had gone to like probably thousands of times, and went through. This lady didn't stop at the stop sign, plowed straight into the passenger side of my car, my little Elantra, and it was totaled. But
Dang.
I mean, I ended up getting a decent amount for it after that because the insurance for her paid for it because it was her fault. And
Yeah.
I got a pretty good check, and I was able to use that to put down on the Jeep Renegade that I have now. So I'm really happy with it.
Hey, that's good. No, I don't think it's going to total it. I don't think that's going to total it.
No, that's not.
If something happened with the heads or something, that would be a different story. But I don't think it's going to total it. As far as the other is concerned, I'm just hoping we'll see how much it's going to end up being. Hopefully, it's just pull off this piece, get a new hose. We'll see. I got to call my mechanic tomorrow. I didn't call him today, so I'm kind of going to have to see how this goes. But anyway, let's talk Marshall. Got Marshall in less than 15. We're at 15 minutes now. So are we liking our chances tonight?
I think they're pretty good, honestly. Just for the fact that they've had a really subpar year, even with us being kind of shorthanded. At least we have Frampton back. Has some more depth. I mean, Brashear, he just had some more playing time against Middle, so if he plays, he'll feel probably a little more confident than he did beforehand, not playing as many games. Marshall, I know they've lost a lot. Jared West, he transferred to Louisville, so he's been there now. I mean, they still have Tavion Kinsey. He's probably the best player that's still on Marshall, but he's just kind of like a one-man show, I think, at this point. Because, I mean, they don't have a lot of the same weapons that they used to. So it's been an adjustment for Coach D'Antoni trying to figure all of that out. But, I mean, I like our chances. I mean, obviously not having Hamilton is bad, but if we do get a big lead, I really hope Stansbury kind of clears his benches a little bit because we need to get McKnight and all these other core players like as much rest as possible before we play in the conference tournament, because if they are playing 40 minutes a game in Texas, and I mean, right now we're still in the 2 spot. Obviously, if we win out, it's ours. But if we do blow a game or two, FAU could sneak into it, and we don't get that bye. And then we'd be playing 3 games, 3 days. We have to seal the deal. We have to.
We need that bye.
Yeah, if we don't get that bye, it's going to be an uphill battle, basically.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough. And honestly, I don't know if we'll make it if we don't.
I mean, I don't even know how I feel about us playing 2 games in 2 days.
Yeah. Completely agree with that too. It's just rough.
It is hard to believe, though, it's March.
We do need to win tonight. You were talking about Kinsey. ESPN's reporting he does about 18 points per game. He shoots 42% from the field, 75% from free throw land. He's about like McKnight. McKnight's got about 15 points per game, while McKnight's shooting 48% and 78% from free throw. So, they're about the same as far as, on paper. So, I mean, I definitely could easily see Western definitely winning this one. I don't know about the next game. That's my question.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be playing them again on the 5th. So that is, Saturday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon, excuse me. 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday on ESPN Plus. And like this is what kills me. The people at ESPN, their interns, have us at 88% and Marshall at 11 on Saturday. Is that not wild?
It is
at
home,
feel like we'd be closer. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's home, but you're telling me 9 out of 10 times we're going to beat them at home? I don't think it's that close. I don't think it's that far out, I should say.
I don't know. I mean, tonight will be a good indication. If we win by more than 10 points tonight, I'll feel really, really, really good at going into Saturday. Just for the fact that we've been pretty solid at home for the most part, especially in the latter part of the season now. We've been able to take care of business. So,
yeah.
Hopefully and it'll be senior night for us, too. You got to think about that.
That's true. Well, the guys will be hyped up. I'll give you that. Okay. I'll give you the senior night thing. Of course, Marshall's not going to be happy. If we win tonight and we're going at them, Saturday, Marshall's going to come back pumped. They're going to come back mad. Yeah. Now they're 11 of 18 for the year, so that's not. They're not as strong as they used to be, and they're 4 of 12 in conference play. We're 9 and 7. We're not that much better, but we're not that much worse either. So I definitely can see Western winning out. I would like to see Western get some rest, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to see some of these guys get some rest coming into, conference play, but who knows? I would imagine not, but that's just my thought.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so like I said, Western's playing Marshall tonight at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you're listening on podcasts, you will know more than we will. But I hope you enjoyed everything tonight. Finally, I guess let's talk. We've kind of talked about it a little bit before. What is your favorite moment for Western and Marshall? Basketball or football, either one.
I mean, it has to be the first game. It can't be anything else.
Yep, I agree. It's got to be that first game where we beat them.
I did enjoy the second one, though, in 15 when we beat them like 60-3 or something like that. It was like the biggest loss that Marshall's ever had in their program history. That one felt pretty good, too.
I think that's one. I think that's 1 and 2 for me.
Yeah,
it's definitely got to be 1 and 2 because, not only the first one you beat them wasn't. I'm pretty sure that was an overtime, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first year.
Yep, through to Willie McNeil, which I knew Willie or know of Willie. He was at Western when I was there. Him and Brandon Dowdy. There were several actually on that team that I knew. But then you've got And then, of course, ended up beating them in a basketball score of a football game, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, who can believe that score? That's a wild score. But definitely, I think that's got to be 1 and 2. Because
And I do remember in
Go
basketball,
ahead.
our very first Conference USA game in basketball was against Marshall, and we won by, I think, almost like 20-something points. They weren't as good back then.
Okay. Worst Marshall memory before we go.
It has to be the missed layup.
Missed layup, yeah. I was going to say a few years back when, what was it, Sanford, or was it the first year at Helton when they beat us? I think they beat us for the East, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Sanford.
Yeah. When they beat us for the East, that was a rough one for me.
Well, no, if it was for the East, it's probably Hilton because
I think it was
Sanford's not that
Hilton.
good. Yeah, it had to be Hilton then.
I think it was Helton because when they beat us for the East, it was like, ugh. We had a chance to actually do fairly well, and that may have been the Piggy years, if I'm not mistaken, or was it Ty Story?
Not even, yeah, it's Story. Yeah, it's Story's
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, it was Ty Story. Because I just remember getting on social media and all the Marshall fans are, y'all are trash, ooh. And I'm like, really? Y'all act like y'all living at the Hilton? And I'm like, really? This ain't the Hyatt. Come on, guys. Y'all ain't that great. But anyway, we've got 9 minutes to tip off here, so we're going to go ahead and bug out and let you all get ready for the game. So we appreciate you all listening this long. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Rate us on iTunes. We appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely like the video, share it. We appreciate your support. Check back next week. We'll be talking Frisco, which, by the way, as sad as it sounds, my wife can't spell, and she's rubbing off on me. I had to look up how to spell Frisco.
Frisco,
whatever.
Frisco is like Italian or whatever.
Exactly. I kept spelling Frisco, Frisco, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. All right, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it is actually Frisco. But I was thinking it was Fresco. No, yeah, okay. She's rubbing off.
I think. I don't know.
She's rubbing off on me. That's all it is. Check back next week. We're going to be talking Frisco, getting ready for tournament, seeing how everything's going to line up. Maybe talking some football news. Who knows? Maybe some more transfers. I have no idea.
Hopefully, incoming transfers.
Exactly. But as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.